Here is why the Pentagon is betting big on the MQ-25 Stingray.
Hello, welcome back to the Global Intel Network. If you find this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel and drop your opinions in the comments section below. What if the next naval war isn't decided by stealth fighters or hypersonic missiles, but by a drone carrying fuel? Right now, the world's most powerful aircraft carriers face a growing problem. They can launch incredible jets, but those jets can't always reach the fight without putting the carrier in danger. So the U.S. Navy built something radically different. No cockpit, no pilot, no weapons, just range. Meet the MQ-25 Stingray, a quiet, orbiting lifeline that could double a carrier's striking distance and reshape how wars at sea are fought. Because in modern warfare, the fleet that runs out of fuel runs out of options. The problem? The tyranny of distance. Modern naval strategy is increasingly shaped by anti-access and area denial networks, layers of sensors, missiles, and air defenses designed to keep carriers far from the battlefield. To survive, a carrier strike group must often operate hundreds, sometimes over 1,000 miles from its targets. But there's a catch. Carrier-based fighters typically have a combat radius of only about 500 to 600 nautical miles. That creates a dangerous gap between where the carrier is safe and where the fight actually is. For years, this gap forced the Navy into a difficult compromise: move closer and risk the carrier, or stay safe and limit striking power. The solution would not come from a faster jet or a bigger missile. It would come from logistics. Enter the MQ-25 Stingray. The MQ-25 Stingray is the U.S. Navy's first operational carrier-based unmanned aircraft. Its primary mission is simple, but strategically transformative: airborne refueling. Think of it as a flying gas station, one that launches from the carrier, flies hundreds of miles ahead, and waits in orbit to top off strike aircraft before they push deeper into contested airspace. By doing this, the Stingray effectively stretches the reach of the entire carrier air wing, turning the ocean itself into a runway extension. Solving the buddy tanker burden. Before the Stingray, the Navy relied on an inefficient workaround known as buddy tanking. Strike fighters like the Super Hornet would be loaded with fuel tanks and refueling pods, not weapons, and sent aloft simply to pass gas to other jets. At times, as much as a quarter to a third of all sorties were devoted to this role. That meant fewer aircraft available for combat, more wear on expensive fighters, and more fatigue for pilots. By taking over this mission, the MQ-25 instantly returns those aircraft to the fight, boosting strike capacity without adding a single new fighter squadron. From experimental dream to operational reality. The Stingray's story began in the early 2000s with experimental unmanned carrier aircraft programs. Over time, the Navy made a strategic decision. Instead of pursuing an immediate stealth strike drone, focus first on the mission that would deliver the most immediate operational benefit: refueling. Development was awarded to Boeing, and in 2019, the aircraft took its first flight. Subsequent tests demonstrated successful refueling of multiple aircraft types, proving that an unmanned tanker could integrate seamlessly into carrier operations. Design: built for endurance and integration. The MQ-25's design reflects its mission. A blended wing-body shape maximizes fuel capacity and endurance, while folding wings allow it to fit into crowded carrier hangars. It can offload roughly 15,000 pounds of fuel at distances around 500 nautical miles from the ship, loitering for hours as strike aircraft cycle through. Its low observable shaping gives it greater survivability than traditional tankers, allowing it to operate closer to contested airspace. And beneath its skin lies an open architecture system, meaning future upgrades could add sensors, communications relays, or electronic warfare payloads. A new era on the flight deck. Carrier flight decks are among the most complex environments in aviation, a tightly choreographed ballet of noise, motion, and precision. Now imagine adding a pilotless aircraft to that dance. Using advanced control systems, operators can taxi, launch, and recover the Stingray with remarkable precision. Tests aboard carriers such as USS George H.W. Bush have shown that unmanned aircraft can operate safely alongside manned jets, a milestone that opens the door to a future of mixed human-robot air wings. Strategic impact. Extending the carrier's reach. With the MQ-25 in orbit, the carrier air wing's effective strike range can expand dramatically. Fighters can penetrate deeper into defended territory. Carriers can remain farther from danger. And commanders gain new flexibility in how they plan operations. In practical terms, it means the carrier, long considered vulnerable in the missile age, retains its relevance as a centerpiece of naval power. More than a tanker, a platform for the future. Although refueling is its primary mission, the Stingray is also a stepping stone. Its modular design could allow it to serve as an intelligence collector, a communications relay, or an electronic warfare platform. More importantly, it proves that autonomous aircraft can safely and effectively operate from carriers, laying the groundwork for future collaborative combat drones. In that sense, the MQ-25 is not just a new aircraft, it's a bridge to the next era of naval aviation. Conclusion. Logistics as the decisive weapon. In warfare, tactics capture the headlines, but logistics wins the campaigns. The MQ-25 Stingray embodies that truth. It doesn't dogfight, it doesn't drop bombs, yet, by keeping aircraft fueled and extending the reach of the fleet, it quietly reshapes the geometry of naval warfare. As autonomous systems become more common and the battle space grows more contested, the Stingray stands as proof that the future carrier air wing will not be defined by pilots alone, but by the seamless partnership between humans and machines. And somewhere ahead of the fleet, long before the first strike aircraft arrives, a silent drone will already be circling, keeping the spear sharp and the mission alive. If you want more deep dives into next-generation military technology and the future of warfare, make sure to subscribe, like the video, and share your thoughts below.